I think the thing that's been really exciting and what's inspired us at Wiser is, the flexible way in which schools have picked this up and used it. Like, we know that there's needs not only with students, we know that we're in a time where we've lost a lot of staff, particularly in our government sector schools, where they're really struggling to keep staff on board. And staff who carried, particularly in our big states in Australia, the stress and distress levels experienced through COVID, they're still alive in our schools today. I'm out and about in schools and I'm seeing the impact still, be it a Catholic, be it a government, be it an independent school. The ripple on impact of what happened with COVID and the threat to people's life and survival is still alive in our schools. So I think where Liminal is so unique and exciting for us is the take up that we've seen by staff who've said, this really helps me, it helps my focus, it calms me, reduces my anxiety and my stress, and to us that's gold, because the stress levels are still really high. They're high for students, they're high for staff. Australia's got some of the highest stress levels for our principals and our staff in the world. And this is what is really exciting with what Liminal is doing. It's decreasing those stress levels. It's decreasing the anxiety levels. It's improving people's focus to be able to teach. It's helping, particularly with our kids, our young people and students across the board. Not only have we seen increased rates of disengagement, but it's the behavioural issues that are really challenging in classrooms, and that's taking a toll across the board on staff and leaders. And the exciting thing that we saw with the results was the behavioural issues reducing. So, the counsellors and psychologists fed back, it's really enhancing students' mood, their emotional states. It's helping students relax and cope with those negative emotions. It helps them build relationships where they're getting some people engaging with them who would never have engaged, particularly our boys, and that's exciting. The focus category, for example, where teachers talked about this is actually improving students' concentration, and it's positively impacting their school academic performance. So, these things for us are just gold. So, the fact that the schools were using this, not only in class, but, as you said, Nick, before and after those school counselling programs and during them, and just saying it was improving the whole relationship and how our sessions were going. So, there's some really exciting things. Teachers said it also opened discussions about coping. It created camaraderie and we had positive conversations and really relaxed demeanours. And particularly, they found it helpful in de-escalating disengaged students. And again, this stuff is gold. This really is exciting innovation in education. I want to also talk again, some of the wellbeing coordinators, but also some of the staff in schools, where they talked about the high positive impact on student mental health and wellbeing and their ability to cope with stress, their greater awareness of their emotions and their attentiveness in class, their focus, as I said, improving. So, particularly keeping those disruptive students in the classroom and focused. There were some comments that were made. We talked, I know, in the evaluation with a couple of schools much more closely. They even, were using it in their wellbeing centres, while students were just sitting there and waiting to see somebody. They said that was fabulous to have it there, just sitting there, that they could use it. And another school that we had in rural Victoria, which was a kinder to 12 school, talked about they used it with students who were less inclined, to engage with the traditional counselling methods. And so again, they saw the results and got the benefit with some of those kids, and particularly some of our boys, who are less wanting to do things in less structured time. So sometimes some of the boys would actually access it in things like the library. They also had examples where they helped it to alleviate anxiety. There was a student who had separation anxiety, and her gradual use of it improved her symptoms to the point where she could actually start the day now without having to go to the Wellbeing Centre, which again, very similar, echoing some of the things from our Vic Health pilot. For us in education, these results that Paula shared, this really is exciting for education, and for us in the wellbeing space to be engaged with Liminal, this really has been an exciting experience, and particularly, this expansion of the pilot nationally, where we went not only into Victoria, but New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, all the really big states. It was an interesting time because of those challenges that schools are facing, to get them engaged and have a go. And I think, the fact that so many picked this up and were willing to give it a trial, and they saw the results, and now many of these schools have come on board with Liminal and are going to continue to use it in an ongoing way. So for us to say, hey, we would love to see this in all schools around Australia, because that's the need. It's not, just government schools, it's in all schools. So, the results are really breathtaking, and to see things like, 100% of students saying it's improved their mood, the reductions in stress and anxiety, it's just, across the board, really, really exciting.